Hello Megan, how are you doing? I hear you would like to know how I make my meringue kisses or my meringue lollipops, so I thought I'd do a few little videos to tell you how I do them. I'll do different videos for each stage, and so you just need to watch them. Maybe you could make notes as I go along, or you can obviously watch them back. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you everything you will need. Now, I've probably forgotten something, but I will let you know as we go through. But at the moment, you are going to need a very clean bowl. It needs to be really clean, otherwise your eggs will not whisk, and so does your whisk. You can do this with a hand whisk, no problem at all. It just might take you a little bit longer. So in my bowl, I have got 60 grams of egg whites. Okay, 60 grams. And then I've also got 160 grams of caster sugar. Okay, they're actually the only two ingredients you need. But I've also got, I've got some cream of tartar. I always put a tiny bit in, it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon, but you don't have to do it. It just stables them around a little bit more. Okay, I've also got vanilla to flavour it. I've got colouring. I'm doing blue today in 3 different colours, but whatever colours you want, you can use. I've got my piping bag with the tip that I've chosen. Any tip works, the closed stars work better than the open. And then I always do a little twist in my piping bag so it doesn't drip through when I put it in. You're going to need some cling film to do the multi-coloured or the rainbows, and however many bowls of the different colours you want, little spoons, a spatula, and your straws, which we are going to cut in half. You're also going to need a baking tray. I have a silicone mat, they're amazing because nothing sticks to them, but you can use normal baking paper. So that's everything you need. The next video will show you how to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is whisk our eggs, okay, before we add in our sugar. Now, as you can see at the moment, our eggs are a yellowy liquid. So we're going to beat them on medium, that's 4 on my mixer. And we're going to mix it until you don't see the liquid anymore. You just have white froth, and the metal starts to make a pattern in the froth. As soon as you've done that, we're going to start adding the sugar. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. You can just pop your cream of tartar in the sugar if you're going to use any. Mix it up. And if you have a look, we're starting to just see froth. Haven't quite got the lines in the froth yet, so I'm going to wait a tiny bit longer. And then we're going to add our sugar. I'll just turn it off so I can talk to you. So don't turn yours off, keep it going, and you're going to add your sugar, but you need to add it really slowly. So a tablespoon at a time, letting it have a good whir around, because what we don't want is lots of granules of sugar in the mixture. We need it to dissolve in the egg whites. And then you're going to keep adding the sugar. Once the sugar is added, you can turn it up to, I turn it up to 6 on mine, but it's probably high on a hand mixer. And then you're just going to mix it until you have stiff peaks, and I will show you that when we get there. Okay, so I may fast forward, but we'll see what happens. Going to tip my last bit in. And now I'm going to turn it up to a slightly higher speed. I'm just going to pause it and show you. Oh, can I do this one-handed? There we go. So if it's still runny like this, okay, that's not stiff enough. What we want is when I turn my mixer head upside down, I want the peaks to stay nice and stiff in the air. Okay, so I'm going to keep going until they are ready, and this will take a little while. still need longer. So this is where you would add your vanilla extract. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of vanilla. This isn't necessarily needed. They just taste like sugar anyway, although I was thinking of dipping some in chocolate. And back we go. Okay. Ooh. That's really nice and stiff now. Okay, you can feel it when you put your thing through it. You can feel it's nice and stiff. Okay, because we don't want to over mix. That did take a good kind of 12 minutes or so. So I will see you for the next one. Hello again. So what I have done now is I've got my mixture and I've split it into 3 bowls because I'm going to be doing 3 different colours. So you just want as many bowls as you want colours. Rainbows are really, really fun. I'm making them for my Father's Day, so I'm doing hopefully 3 different blues. So in this one, I'm going to put the tiniest bit. If you want some nice cheap colours that are really bright, these are from Amazon and they're really good price. So if you ever have a treat from your mum or you want to spend your pocket money. So my first colour I'm going to do really light. Don't worry too much about mixing this quite hard. The meringue's quite firm by this point, so it holds its colour quite well. It holds its body quite well as well. Okay, so that's my first colour there. Okay. I'm going to put a bit more in this one. A bit more in this one. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you can see. I don't weigh out the bits, but I just try and do like a spoon at a time so it's nice and even. I might have a bit more of one colour than another, but that's not the end of the world. Just make sure you do that on your favourite colour. Okay, so he's a little bit darker. I'm going to do him a bit darker than that. Ooh. There we go. So if you want to do rainbow, but you don't want to do like loads of different colours, I'd probably do like pink, purple and yellow, or okay, there's my middle blue. It doesn't quite look as dark as it does in real life. And this last one I'm going to do quite a lot. I want it to be nice, nice and bold. Slightly less of this one, but not on purpose. Oh yes. Lovely, look at that for a nice bright blue. And it'll brighten up a bit more as it sits as well. Okay, so I've got my 3 colours. Now this is the fun bit. I'll try and explain it as best I can. Now I want these 3 colours to be in my one tube. Okay, so I've got my cup and I want them all to go in that together. So what I'm going to do is take, I hope you can see this, I'm going to take some cling film, about the size of a piece of paper, okay, as long as the piping bag, okay, I hope you can see that. And I'm going to lay each colour down in a line, okay, I think you can see. If you want to be very clever, do the first bit thinner because the piping bag obviously gets wider as it goes along. But get every little bit you can. So I've done it slightly thinner up this end and thicker, I don't know if you can see, but thicker this end because my piping bags. Then I'm going to do my middle colour. I'll just turn it a bit so you can see there. Okay. Like this. Lovely. And if you do, you know, you could, if you could be bothered, you could do 5 different colours, and this works for buttercream as well. If you ever want to do rainbow buttercream, you can do the same thing. And then I'm going to take my even darker colour and pop that down. Oh, it's thundery outside. A bit scary. There we go. So I've now got my 3 colours lying down, and what I'm going to do is roll it up. So I'm going to take this, can you see, and just give it a little squeeze and roll it, and then my thinner end, I'm just going to squeeze it a little bit as if it were a point, and this end I'm going to twist. This is my fat end, okay? And then we're going to put that into our piping bag, which I have you standing on at the moment. So I'm just going to pause and I'll come back when it goes. So what you might want to do at this point is turn your oven on, okay? And you want to set it to 90 degrees or 80 degrees if you have a hot oven. It says 90 on my oven, but I actually have a thermometer on my oven and it says it's only like 80 or something. So you'll have to ask your parent what your oven is like. If it's quite hot and it tends to burn things, then only put it at 80 or something. But yeah, about 90 degrees, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I've got my cup that has my thing in, and I'm just going to take some scissors, chop, oh, sorry, twisted you around, chop my skinny end that I made, like that, and then I'm going to quickly pop it into my bag, and nothing's going to squidge out because I've twisted my bag before. Now I'm going to untwist it and give it a squeeze. And now this is the fun bit, because you get to pipe different shapes. I'm going to try and pipe, can I do it one-handed? I don't know. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. I was going to show you all my different ways of piping. So just to do a simple meringue kiss, you would squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift, like that. And you could just do loads of kisses and that would be really fun. Okay, but what I'm going to do now is show you how to do the lollies. So the lollies, you need your straws. I'm obviously going to use my blue ones today. I need to make sure I have 5 lollies from my different boxes. And you want to cut your lolly sticks in half, like so. Okay. And what's really important is you give something for your lolly stick to lie down in. Okay, and what I mean by that, I'm trying to get a bit closer, is if you just put your lolly stick down now, like that, and pipe on the top, when you lift it up later, the lolly stick could fall out the back. So what you want to do is just do a little blob to stick your lolly on. Okay. And then you can go wild. You can do a circle. You can basically do any pattern you want. I'm going to try and do actual rainbows next week with clouds at the bottom. But as long as you can pipe it, or as long as you can draw it, you can pipe it. And you can do any shape using any nozzle, and it's really fun. I'm going to probably do them all quite the same because like that. You see that? A little bob. And obviously if you had a rainbow, you'd see the colours really stand out. But I've just got 3 different blues, so it's not crazy. Oh, just checking it's going to fit there. They don't really get much bigger, so you can do them quite close together. I've found. It's not like, you know, cakes and things and cookies that really spread. They don't spread that much. Hopefully he won't spread to that one. Okay, I've now got some spare batter, so what I'm going to do is just do some little meringue circles, because that's always fun. And you get used to piping. I've piped a lot, so my piping skills are a bit better than they used to be. And another thing I'd say is if you've got a bit of spare batter at the bottom, really squeeze it down. Don't waste it. Just do loads of cute little meringue blobs in all your spaces. Use up the space, use up the meringue. Now, I did forget something, didn't I? Sprinkles. Here we go. So I've got these ones, put some of those on. I've got these ones. So I'll put some of those on as well. And just go wild. I like to do them down one side. I don't know why, I think it looks pretty. Rather than all the way over. Sometimes simple is better. Okay. Ooh, la, la, la. There you go. Then I'm going to get some of these ones. Oh. And pop those on here. Whee. Oh, the thunder. And we are done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put these in the oven. Now this part is really, really important. You're going to put them in at the 80 to 90 degrees for an hour. At no point open your oven, not even to have a sneaky little peek. Do not open your oven. After the hour, you're going to turn your oven off, but you're still going to keep the oven shut and you're going to leave them in the oven for at least an hour. Now, I always make sure I don't do these around dinner time. So if you do them in the morning, that's better, because then the longer you leave them to dry out in the oven, because it'll still be a bit warm, the better. What you don't want to do is if you open the oven and you touch them, they kind of feel sticky, they haven't dried off enough. There's nothing worse than doing some lovely meringues and then you put them in a box and you take them out and they're all sticky and they stick together. We don't want that. We need to really dry them out. So I actually leave them in the oven when it's off. So after the hour with the oven on, I turn it off and I leave them for at least 2 hours. And then I give them a little, then I open the oven and I give them a little touch. And if they feel really dry and not sticky at all, then I take them out and I leave them in room temperature. And then I put them in a pot and I store them. So what I'll do is I'll put these in the oven and then I'll come back to you for a last video at the end. Just taking these out of the oven. They've been sitting in the oven turned off for about 2 hours after their 1 hour bake. And they should now be able to peel off nicely. Just be a little bit careful if you've used baking paper. They should be nice and flat on the back. And then you just need to keep them in an airtight container. Enjoy!